Happy Father's Day, everybody. This is Joe Panther the Third for the internationally known Dudes of Ringside podcast. Of course, I said it. I'm Joe Panther the Third, and now, man, what an awesome guest. This young lady, she's taking the wrestling world by storm. Uh, she wrestles for XPW. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Kat Martini, the XPW television champion. Yeah, that's me. That's me, Kat Martini.
Awesome, awesome. So Kat, who trained you?
Who trained me? TV. No, I'm actually like a non-wrestler. Everything that has been done has been part of a whole story, which is the whole gimmick is that I am Rob Black's wife who doesn't wrestle, and I'm just a pretty face who ends up with a title that has to go up against actual wrestlers. So nobody has trained me. Everything is off the cuff practice and being shown spots sporadically and working around those. So
Okay. Well, it's a thing, like you never been trained, but you got the gold.
I,
That's all that matters. Do you have the gold with you or no?
I do. Yes. Let me grab the precious.
Yes, because we are the internationally known home of champions.
Yes. So see the television.
Ooh, there it is, fans. Add another belt to the wall of fame.
I know. It's a nice belt.
Yes.
There's blood on it. So whose blood? I don't know, but it
Oh,
somehow has
jeez. Oh my
for
gosh.
somebody to do a lot of death
So,
matches. It
so
gets dirty.
is there like any death match like you if they asked you to do the match you'd be like, I don't know.
No, because I already been part of the first match I ever was involved in was with Sage Sin and Ludark Shaitan. And it was Sage Sin against me, but Ludark was my surrogate. And I actually have a scar from that match from getting hit with the light tube.
Ooh.
So there is no shame. I am not afraid of anything.
That's like the best part of it, that you do death match and you're not afraid of anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, is there any place in the world or the country that you have not got off your list of places you want to go yet?
Um, Definitely. I mean, there's so many places I would like to go to. Um, on like, where do I want to go? Is that what you're asking me? Like,
Yeah, like
where?
what states have you not wrestled in yet?
Oh, well, we're only in New Jersey and California right now. So
Mm.
our next stop is Florida, which is in September, and then Texas will be after that, and then somewhere in the upcoming months in the fall time we'll be going to Tokyo. So
Whoa.
yes, so and then we have UK in the works as well. So there are places. As for the United States, I mean, we still have to go to Chicago and Detroit and I don't know, wherever there else there's a hot spot for wrestling.
I know one female wrestler that's in the UK that I would love to see you verse in a death match. Her name is Alfie, and she's from the UK.
Okay.
Yes,
I
keep her name in mind. Remember to tell Rob when you see him. Joe Panther the Third says I need to face Alfie in a match
okay,
in the UK.
I'll remember that. I'll remember
Yes,
that.
and when you guys have come back to New Jersey for a show, tell Rob. I've never been to an XPW show, and I'm an original fan. When we're done with the interview, I'm gonna find the tape. I have tapes from back in the day, cassette tapes of
Oh,
XPW when like there was another person, I'm not saying her name, but she was on the DVD cover.
oh
That was
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can say
name
anybody.
starts with an L. No.
Trust me, I see enough. I know everybody. I know
Yeah,
everything. I'm
it
like
was.
Oh
There
my
was
god.
a few people that are on that DVD that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's when I got really into the deathmatch scene, watching XPW. Like, is
Hmm.
there any matches from the past from XPW that you would say like be like your top five favorite?
Um, well, I always enjoyed watching Angel. Angel's always been he's very good, very technical, very smart. And I think that's what a lot of wrestling is missing is the smart, like using your brain as much as you have left of it in a death match because everything is very technical and choreographed and you have to really be smart with what you do. And Angel Supreme, um, they did they were really good at doing that. The infamous free fall with Vic Grimes and New Jack. That's always a top match. No matter how gruesome it is, it's always a top match. Um, I personally, I do like it's not necessarily death match, but it was the I forgot what they the the swamp match with Lizzie Borden, Veronica Kane,
Mm,
um, that one where I I I really want to do that. I want to recreate it and make it better and actually make it into a death match. So
have
I'm in
you
the
versus what's your name in the swamp match? What's her name that's part of XPW? What's her name? Jasmine. You versus Jasmine in that match.
oh yes, yes, I know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? We had a little bickering at the last Jersey show. Was it the last Jersey show? I think we had a little squirrel. Yeah, I think it was the last Jersey show we did. Um, but I'll take on anybody. I don't care.
Awesome. That was gonna be my tie-in question. Is there any like male or female wrestler that you've been watching on Instagram or YouTube that you like been dying to get your nails in and just wrestle them?
Um, Me personally, no. Me watching people for the company, yes. Just because I also have like a double job where I'm not just a wrestler, I run the business too. So it's like I see people every day where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to have this person come in. Oh my gosh, I would love to have this person come in." We're building our roster and we just added Tessa Blanchard, so I'm always like looking at
Wow.
people who are like who would look good with these people? Oh my gosh, did they fix the XPW um, mold? Like, would they be a good fit for us? So my eyes are always open. I'm
Yeah.
always like, this person.
That's super important. Like that's super important that you have like your eyes always on the prize. Like who that you see that you're like, "Oh my gosh, this person, that person." So, my next question is like who was it that you saw that made you wanna get into the business that you're doing now?
um, I mean, it sounds so cheesy to say Rob Black, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be educated on wrestling. Now, as I was a kid, I grew up in the Attitude Era, and I grew up watching the Trish Stratus and the Litas and the Chinas and the um, you know, Triple H and all those guys. And I mean, I didn't really know of XPW until I was with Robert. I didn't even know there was any other companies besides WWF at the time. And I'm sure I knew of WCW, but I wasn't like aware of it because it was just like one of those things of when you thought of wrestling, you automatically thought of Vince McMahon and the whole McMahon family and all those guys. So having all these other entities, you're just like, I don't know. I don't know anybody. So I mean, that's when I was a kid, but then being with Rob and him educating on me, I was like, wow, this is really cool. There's like a whole different world of wrestling out there that's called deathmatch. And I'm just like, okay, these people are crazy.
That was my first thought, Kat, when I was in college and my buddy gave me this XPW tape. I first popped it in, I watched a little the intro, and the first match, I think it could have been Angel or it was what's his face with the bald head that everybody loved in XPW that I loved to death.
You?
It was what's his name? He had the bald head. Everybody loved him. I think he passed away. Oh my gosh, what's
Oh,
his
that's
name?
money.
Can't
I
think of
don't
his
know.
name. He had a bald head. Everybody loved him. I can't think of his name. I could see his face. I can't think of his name. He was a popular XPW guy.
I don't know.
I can't
All
think of
I
his name, but I saw his first match and I was just like, oh my god, he just got something
Wait, are you
stapled
talking
to his
about
head.
what, Damian Steele? No, I don't think he was
No, no,
bald though.
dude, watch, when we're
I
done
don't
with
know.
the interview, his name's gonna
Steele.
pop in my head. Oh, I can't think of his
Yeah.
name. But he was like the first match I ever saw, and he got something stapled to his head, and I was like, "What the heck did I just watch?" I used to watch ECW. I was like a
Oh
big
my god.
ECW fan, and I was like, "I've watched so much of this stuff. How is this freaking me out?" But then I got hooked. like, like, it's like
It's
that
funny that you say
one
that because
thing.
like I remember when we brought back XPW, the I have a kid right at the door. When we brought
Jeez.
back XPW, there was we we did California, and
Mm,
I was like freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how I'm going to react to seeing all these people getting like beat up and bloody. And I was like, I'm a big slasher movie person, but I was like, I don't know um if I can handle it in real life. And then all of a sudden, like after the first death match, and I wasn't getting queasy. And then the second one, I was like, And then as the night go on, I was like, wow, I must be like a psycho because none of this stuff is grossing me out. And there's like guys that are just like bleeding everywhere. There's like gashes all over them, and they're just like blood's just trailing along. The bathroom's like covered in blood. It looks like a murder scene. I'm just like, right on. That's like super metal.
imagine that maintenance crew that had to clean that bathroom after you all left.
Hated it. They were so mad. They were so mad at us, but they kept
But
us.
like again, when you see Rob, man, I go to a lot of wrestling shows. I'm going to one very soon, and man, I've never been to a deathmatch show. Just
Oh,
you
you're
gotta
gonna
let me know. I have to go. It's in New Jersey. I live
yeah,
in PA, so it's not that far away.
you're gonna have
Like,
to go. Yes.
yeah, it's not that far away. I'll be with my dad. My dad's a former law enforcement officer, so he doesn't get really squeamish. I had to warn him. The one we had a female wrestler that does deathmatch, and like he's like, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you guys got to come when it comes to Philly," and I'm like, "Yeah." And then the show ended, and when I put the thing on YouTube, he was like, said this to my dad. I said, "Dad, have you actually ever watched deathmatch before?" No, no. And on Instagram, I found a deathmatch. You know, Instagram knows when you like talk about something, they'll send
I
it in your search. And I sent him
so true.
something with deathmatch, and he's like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
What'd you send me?" I'm like, "There you go, Dad. You want
Yeah.
to go to a deathmatch show? There we go." He's
I know.
like,
It's a lot of fun. Like it's a whole different vibe. I tell you, it's a whole different vibe whenever it's like a deathmatch show compared to like a I don't know, a regular wrestling show or a non-death match, very traditional wrestling. Um, like just people like I think that's why I don't like having favorites, and the boys and the girls that are part of XPW are like my children. So, or I did not children, but I just get very, it's like family. We're like one big family, and I don't like
"Yeah,
playing favorites, but I am a very big Drake Younger fan, and he's probably like he kind of takes after that Angel and Supreme and that very smart
Supreme.
thinking.
That's
Yeah.
the guy.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. You're like the bald guy, and I'm like, well, it's not Supreme because we
Wasn't
already.
he bald? Supreme, wasn't he bald?" I
but um, but no. So I'm a huge Drake Younger fan, and I think that the people in the deathmatch industry should definitely follow him and see how because it's like a workup. Like he doesn't just go in there and all of a sudden he's beating you right out of the gate. It's like a whole story that you're watching and you're just like, wow, wow, and like it makes you anticipate. So like the fans are like they're waiting. They're like at the action movie. They're like waiting on the edge of their seat, going, "Oh my god, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen?" And then it happens, and it's like this, they finally get the rainbow after the storm. So
Awesome. So, what is like your week of a show like schedule like? What is it like? Like for you, what is it like?
it is. It is making sure the kids are set. It is making sure that business, because we have other businesses, so we have to make sure all the other businesses we're running are well stocked and well prepared and ready. Because even though we're going for 2 days, those 2 days literally feel like a whole month. So there's a lot of preparation. And if it was just, this is all we did and we had no kids, you just get in the car and go. It sounds a lot easier, and it would be. But we are constantly like, all right, we got to make sure all the merch is set. We got to make sure the kids are set. We got to make sure their clothes are set. We got to make sure the house is clean. The pets are taken care of. um, Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my mom duties. And I'm just like, Robert just worries about XPW and I do all the mom stuff. But that is literally the week ahead where it's like, I'm constantly going, all these things come first, and then I can worry about the wrestling.
So, my final question for you. If there was any young wrestler that wanted to get into the deathmatch scene and they didn't know where to go, what would you tell them if you had to give them any advice?
um, they didn't have anywhere to go. It's like there's wrestling schools all over that are more than happy. Even like the small ones. There's people that have a ring. Training is like your number one thing.
Kat, you still there? Okay, Kat, this is Joe Panther the Third wishing all the dads a happy Father's Day. We will catch you in the next one. Good night,